This is going to span at least a couple of weeks, probably more. Yeah, I mean, I think what you'll find is that I'm going to just make a couple of quick changes because I'm changing these around. I think it'll probably be about 3 weeks, and what we're going to do is we're going to look at decomposition, and specifically decomposition that happens in the soil. So for those of you who don't know, just a very, very quick overview of decomposition is there are certain kinds of things called organic materials. These are things that were once alive, made from pieces of things that were once alive. So paper is organic, and like wood is organic, and food is organic, and if an animal dies, it's organic. Remember when we saw the rabbit out by the woods, and that was like organic material. And one of the really important functions of soil is that it helps organic material break down from something big into things that are smaller. And again, there's a bunch here that we haven't gotten into yet, but that process turns out to be really important for everything alive on this planet. Decomposition is a critical part of life on the planet. Without it, none of us would be here. So decomposition in soil is really important, and we're going to look at how decomposition is different in different kinds of soil and in different places. That's the basic premise. So what I'm going to ask you all to do is you're going to work in groups of 2 or 3, and for today, I don't know exactly how far you'll get. What I'll be looking at, I'm gonna start this today. We'll continue it Thursday. What I'm going to be looking at is how engaged you are in thinking and working thoughtfully with your assigned partners. So there's a bunch of questions that I want you to do some research on. So one is, what is decomposition? Like I told you a little bit, but there's way more to look at. How does it happen? Think about the rate of decomposition of at least 3 different natural organic materials. So organic means it has something to do with living things. It came from living things. And then think about some human-made materials that have varying rates of decomposition. All of this research is something that you can do with Google. You're also welcome to use AI. What I want you to do, though, is if you're going to use AI, just make sure that you don't just copy and paste, because the goal of AI is to give you information that you then think about. The other thing that you should be aware of, that I think everybody knows this, but it bears repeating, AI is often wrong, just flat out wrong. It is not a real person, and it doesn't know how to really fact check. And so while it can be incredibly useful, it can also just spit out information that's just like, nope, that's not how it happens. So you're welcome to use AI for this, but double check and maybe use traditional sources to verify information. And then we're gonna start thinking about ways that we could affect the rate of decomposition. And this is something where I don't want you to just guess. I want you to do a little bit of research into, what are some different things that can affect the rate at which organic material might decompose in the soil. And probably that's going to be about as far as you get today. And we'll see, but I think probably that's as far as you'll get, and then we'll pick up from there on Thursday and start thinking about a study that you could do. We're not going to set up the study right away, although we might on Thursday. I think if the weather's okay, we might scout out some potential locations. But the goal is going to be to think about how, different aspects of the soil, different composite soil texture, for example, and then some other things. And like I said, we haven't talked about this yet, but it's worth thinking about. things like little organisms that live in the soil, or the amount of moisture in the soil, or whether there's like plants or, the plant roots and other things in the soil. And what you can think about is, one of the very first things that we did with soil was the soil dissection activity. And that actually gives you a lot of things that you can think about. If you go back to that soil dissection, you think about like the feel of the soil and whether there was a lot of organic material in it, and whether you saw bugs and worms and stuff, and all of those things are things that might be different between different types of soil. Like some might have more bugs and some might have fewer bugs, and some might have more organic material and some might have less. So those are all variables that you can think about. So I'd like you to work, I think realistically, 1 through 4 is as much as you're going to be able to get. What I'm looking for is thoughtful engagement with your partners. I want to see you talking. I want to see you working together, doing this research. You don't start at number 5 because you're not ready yet, but you can definitely start at number 1 and start working your way through. As you document your work, remember that while you're going to be working together and talking to each other, you're going to be writing your own understanding in your own words. And you can write it on paper or you can type it, either way. It's not due today, it's going to be due on Thursday. So whatever you start today, you can continue working on Thursday. Okay, any questions about the goal, task at hand? Okay, so